Slow start, Brett?
Yeah, I suppose in the first, 10 minutes or 15 minutes they didn't score. So whether you say that's a slow start, I think it was probably the way they scored after that period. It really changed, and their work around the stoppages was a lot better than ours, considering, I suppose the first use that our players got at ground level. Hampson and Cruz's ability to win the hit out versus the other boys. But I just thought we really got beaten in that, that area of the game. From that period onwards, the numbers say that by a fair bit.
Is that a mindset thing, Brett? Do you think maybe your players didn't come switched on for a hard game of footy?
Well, they got warned about it, they got told about it, and considering that some of the players that were in there versus the opposition that they had in there, they should have been really ready for it. Considering that McDonald's clearance player, you got the likes of Ward and Scully and these types around there, so our players knew exactly what they were coming up against. So there wasn't a complacency issue there. I thought our ball use really didn't help us at all. It was pretty average considering our ineffective kicks and clangers. We gave the ball back in areas of the ground that we're not really happy about, and that allowed us to be scored against. But they generated a lot from their clearance work, especially to score in the first half.
Brett, was it a concern? You take Chris J out and you lose the clearance tackle, the tactical clearance count quite convincingly in the first half of contested possessions. You lost that count as well. Is that a concern?
I think we lost the clearances last week against Fremantle with Chris in the team, so I think that's. I think it's how you actually work around that, and I think they were winning the clearances and actually scoring from clearances. So that's a bigger issue collectively. It's probably you can lose the first but still win the game, and that's happened through games in the AFL. But I thought for them to win it and then score was a bigger problem which we have to address.
You mentioned your ball use, Brett. Was that just poor skill level, or was it at times players just trying to be a bit too cute?
Bit of both. I think in fairness to the players, the pressure was good. Fairly bit of heat on our players, but I thought sometimes it was our players trying to finesse or hit the big play through the middle, or trying to hit one around the corner, or a forward handball, or something that was just against what we're about. I thought they tried to be a bit too cute at times.
No one really tried to redress that. That was the problem. I mean, obviously, poorish sort of start. Was that what you were frustrated with as well? No one put their hand up?
I thought players put their hand up. I thought Sean Hampson was really good. There was players there that really grabbed their opportunity to stand up for us, and I thought Jamison came back to some really good form in the way he started to be the general back there. Henderson was in good touch. Yeah, so there was some shining lights there, but across the board, we didn't have any players, really jump out and say, geez, he took the game by the scruff of the neck. I thought Hampson's second half was clearly probably the best on ground because of that, but there was other blokes that did okay. But there was things in our games that, I suppose there was blokes who, from a midfield point of view, you could say, oh, well, they did okay with some clearance numbers, but it wasn't us together doing it. So I thought that was the bigger issue, about us collectively working together and getting the job done. It was more an individual would win 2 or 3 clearances, then you wouldn't see him again. Someone else would jump in and win a clearance here, but it wasn't how we worked together as well as what we could have.
Bootsman showed a bit, didn't he?
I can play, Josh. He's extremely quick for his size. He doesn't look at his he's a long strider, so you don't think he's that quick, but he's quite agile and quick. At 191 and a half, sort of, he's got the ability to play on probably the small. He could play on Eddie Betts, and he could also play tall as well. Makes good decisions. He's going to take a bit more time, but we just thought it would be really a great chance after Ed trained yesterday and didn't come up. We thought, well, let's give Joshy a go and a taste, because he deserves it. He's been our best player, in the last 2 weeks at VFL level, so it was a great reward for him.
What's your reaction like that to a first game? He's playing popular already.
Yeah, gee, it takes some blokes 100 games to get that popularity, but whether it's the hair or what it is, I'm not sure. But if he's a cult hero already, it's good luck to him.
Pretty light, light frame.
Yeah, he is light framed. Don't don't judge him on that because no, he is. He's got a little bit of building up and that, but I think he's going to carry a Dustin Fletcher type frame throughout his career. He's sort of got those long arms and seems to find a way to get those arms into spoil and play. So I don't think he's going to become the Hercules of the competition. He's just going to be a finer type athlete who can really run, and that's going to be one of his strengths as well.
Could he play a role towards the end of the year? As I said, he's still very light and very young, but you haven't got a lot of great users off halfback. Could you see him playing a role this side this year?
Yeah, it'd be great to give him more opportunity. Whether we play him next week or not, that'll be up to Yaron will probably come back next week and that as well. So he'll get another taste, but I can't say when. But yeah, I'd like to get him in. But it's hard with the kids. You want to keep progressing, your list underneath. But if you actually push them too hard too quickly, we can actually dent their confidence or put them into a state of fatigue, which then they can't get up for the next games, and that does hurt their season. Just remembering Josh's background, he only played before he got drafted only half a year at Colts level. The first half was playing country footy, then he played half a year at Colts level, and then he's come to do an AFL pre-season and sort of match it in the senior level. So he's coming from a fair way back, so we've got to make sure that we just don't make his jump too big too quickly.
What about GWS? I mean, as you said, they look really impressive, don't they?
Oh, they're going to be a very good team. They've got good kids, and when you think of Cameron and these kids that didn't even play as well, they're going to be a very good team, and it's going to take a bit of time. Hard for a young team to put 4 quarters together, and whether it's at the back end of this year or next year, it's going to start to click for them, and it's only a matter of time. I think the older boys in their group are doing extremely well as well. McDonald to miss AFL football and come back and do what he's doing. There's been some absolute superstars that have sat out of AFL football for 12 months, but they can never get back their form. And I think Tony Lockett was one of them. Couldn't get back to where he left the game from the first time, but Junior, I think, he would have had 12 clearances and racked up numerous possessions. So he's doing a great job for them.
Anyone else coming, like is Juddy and Wade, will they definitely come back?
Yeah, they'll play next week. Yep.
Anyone else? Yaron, you said?
Yep, Yaron. Ed Kern will come back. Yep. So there'll be 4 changes next week. Yep. So, and that's probably what was a little bit disappointing with some of the blokes around the edges. That a couple of those blokes who were sort of sitting on the fringe didn't actually take the game by the scruff of the neck in regards to grabbing their spot and cementing their spot in the team. And that's probably what a little bit of frustration from me in saying, well, you had an opportunity and now you might have to move out because of players coming back.
So as a mark out of 10, what would you give today? Were you pretty disappointed? Or
5.
Yeah.
Yep. So, we kept the opposition to 13 shots or 14 shots at goal, 33 inside 50s, but I didn't think the game was, I thought the scoring opportunities inside 50s and that probably flattered us a bit more than actually what it was on the scoreboard. If it wasn't for the last quarter, maybe if we kick straighter, we could have been, maybe 2 or 3 more goals, and it might have been out to 7 goals instead of 4.5. But the game was a bit tighter than that.
Kate Simpson, Brett, what can you say about a bloke that played 150 minutes straight?
Well, Eddie's played 150 today, and Simo's done it straight. So it's a great effort by Simo. When you think of, he's probably 76 kilos and throws himself around and does all what little blokes aren't supposed to do, and he matches the big fellas in that area of the game. So he's been a marvel, and you just love the way he plays. He's the spirit of the team, the way he musters up, and when the game's up and in the balance, you watch the tapes, and especially behind goals and things, some of his chases and his efforts. And even last week he chased Dennis Armfield, lost Hill, and Stephen Hill went, and it was in our forward 50, Simo seen, and just chased him from one end to the other, defended a ball inside the goal square at the other end of the game, and the game was only in the balance. And he does that, and people don't see it, and sometimes we don't see it until you actually watch behind the goals or some of the things that he's done in games to help us get across. He's just a marvel. Thanks, fellas.